Alright, now we're going to go over the midpoint of a segment. The midpoint of a segment. The point on a segment that bisects it into two congruent segments. So the midpoint is the point on a segment that bisects it into two congruent segments. If you see the word bisect, you know it is into two equal parts. So let's say bisect. Bisect equals split into two equal parts. Keyword equal and two. Bi means two, so bisect means split into two equal parts. So the midpoint splits our segment into two congruent segments. Okay, so from there you can have a congruent statement. The left segment is congruent to the right segment. So when you bisect a geometric figure, you divide it into two equal or congruent parts. That's what I have right here. For example, if B is the midpoint of AC, looking below, I have AC, B is the midpoint. That means I now have two congruent segments, AB and BC. And we say they're congruent by the congruent symbol, of course. Alright, let's do some problems. Given that M is the midpoint of segment RS. Okay. So, segment RS. M is the midpoint. They don't look like they're equal, but they are actually. Because M is the midpoint, RM and MS are the same length. So that's why I put this little lines through there. That means that they are of equal length or congruent segments. So if RS is 10, so if the whole thing is 10, then find SM. Alright, that means I can split it RS into two equal parts. So, to RS, let's say two equal parts of length 5. So we've got 5 and 5. And what would you look at that SM now? We know that is 5 because it's 10 divided by 2. Alright, so if RM is 12, find MS and RS. So RM is 12. I know that RM is the same as MS, right? Because it's the midpoint. So let me do it like this. MS is equal to RM, which is just 12. So we know MS, got that. To find RS is just RM plus MS. But they're the same, so it's just 2 times 12, which is 24. And that's that. P7. Point N is the midpoint of segment FG. If Fn is equal to 2x, what expression represents FG? Okay, so expression, I'm just looking for something with x. It looks terrible, I'm sorry. So I have F, G, and then N in the middle. We know they're congruent because N is the midpoint. So Fn is 2x. Okay, if I know Fn, what I also know Ng. So this is also 2x. To find Fg, and we just take 2 times one of the parts, which is the same, so 2 times x. So Fg can be written as 4x. And that's our expression. P8. Does array have a midpoint? No. And explain. I'm not going to write this all down, so we'll just listen if you can write this down in your notes. Array does not have a midpoint because we know it goes on and on forever. And since you cannot split something that has an infinite length into two equal parts, because you cannot split infinity into two, right? It's still infinity. So that means we cannot put a midpoint anywhere that would be exactly between back exactly in the middle, or exactly in the middle of two sections, so or two endpoints, because first of all, a midpoint requires two endpoints. We only have one endpoint, so we cannot take the midpoint. I'm just going to put a big no, and you can write your explanation based on what I just spoke about. Okay, now with algebra, let's move on. P9. If Q is the midpoint of PR, segment PR, PQ is equal to 4x minus 5, and QR is equal to 11 plus 2x. Find PQ. Okay, so we have P and R and Q in the middle. They are congruent because Q is the midpoint. PQ is 4x minus 5. And then QR is 11 plus 2x. So find PQ. First thing first, find x. So I don't have to set up the segment addition postulate. I actually can't right now because I don't have anything for what QR is, or PR is. What I do know is that PQ is equal to QR, correct? So plug in what I have for those two and see if we get a good equation to find x. 4x minus 5 equals 11 plus 2x. From here I can without a doubt solve for x. So let's go ahead and do that. Subtract 2x from both sides and add 5 to both sides. Or subtract 2x from both sides, I get 2x minus 5 is 11. So 2x is equal to 16. So x is equal to 8. Alright, I have my x now. What I want to do is find PQ. Plug into PQ. PQ is equal to 4 times x, which is 8, minus 5. So 32 minus 5 gives me 27. That's our answer. Alright, another algebra problem for P10, but just a slightly bit different, okay? If M is the midpoint of RS, segment RS, Rm is equal to x plus 6, and RS is equal to 5x plus 3. Find x and Sm. Okay, so M is the midpoint of RS. Draw this out. They're congruent. Rm is x plus 6. Rs, the whole thing, is equal to 5x plus 3. So now we are going to want to use what we know about midpoints. We know that because this is the midpoint, I know that RS is just equal to 2 times one of the segments it makes, right? So, but I also know that MS is also just, actually no, let's not do that. Let's do this. Let's just take RS and set it equal to 2 times whatever RM is, right? Because RM and MS are the same thing, so I don't have to worry about that. All I got to do is multiply 2 times RM to give me this. Whatever this number for RM will be, it's also going to be the same thing for MS. So once I find RM, I find MS. So multiply RM by 2 to get RS. Plug in what we know. RS is 5x plus 3. Then RM is x plus 6. Let's do some algebra now. 5x plus 3 is equal to 2x plus 12. I did the distributive property. Subtract 2x from both sides. 3x plus 3 equal to 12. So 3x is equal to 9, and x is equal to 9. Not finished though. I am not finished. Plug into RM. It's equal to 9 plus 6, which is 15. And then remember, RM is just equal to, or MS is equal to RM, which is just 15. So MS is also equal to 15. Okay, that's the end of this midpoint part, or this part of it, the midpoint part, through P10. Our last part of the lesson 4.1 will be in the next video.